Hello everyone. In today's video I'd like to talk to you all about the gold and silver market and provide a 30-day market update. I try to do these about once a month just to kind of give you the pulse of the metals market, how traffic is in the shop, what customer sentiment is. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about, and there's a lot of reasons in my mind that metal prices are being pushed lower right now. We're going to visit some of those things in the video coming up, so be sure to stick around. One of the most frequent questions I get in my shop is, where do you see the gold and silver price going in the future? Whether they're asking next month, next year, in 10 years. Of course I can give an opinion, but that's kind of a dangerous thing to do, because even if I give an opinion, some people may interpret it as insider knowledge and maybe even fact. I can tell you with 100% certainty, I cannot predict the metals market no better than you can, or anyone else for that matter. So it is kind of a dangerous and touchy subject. But when I'm asked that, I do tell the customer this. I say, I can tell you for certain two things will happen in the gold and silver market. Number one, gold and silver will go up. And that always puts a smile on their face. You know, it's reassuring. You know, it makes them feel good about making their purchase. But then I clarify. I said, now the second thing that's for certain is gold and silver will go down. Metals are very volatile. You know, there are YouTubers out there, and many have done videos about this. I agree with a lot of them. I mean, it's impossible to predict, but there are some out there that really like to pump up gold and silver. Personally, I'm a very big believer in both. That's what motivated me to start a business more than anything, to serve the community that I live in, to get more people, to give more people the ability to purchase metals. Started as a part-time gig. It's evolved into almost a full-time job for me now. More on that later. I plan on doing a how I got started in the industry video coming soon. I have about 5 pages of notes. I just got to kind of wrap my head around and figure out how to present that. But getting back to the task at hand, there's a lot of people that have talked about this lately, or a lot of YouTubers, because customer sentiment isn't real high in a lot of areas, and I get that. People are very frustrated. For those that, you know, maybe bought during the silver squeeze back in March, you know, a couple years back, they were paying 30 bucks an ounce. Silver hasn't come anywhere near that since. So from that perspective, I can see why people are very frustrated. For those seasoned stackers and for those who have been in the game a long time, I think you all understand that this is a long game. Don't expect to get rich quick overnight, although it could happen, but it would take a global crisis or a national crisis that nobody necessarily wants to see happen, that could cause metals to increase exponentially in a very short amount of time. That can happen, yes. Do we want that to happen? I sure don't. I don't want to live in a chaotic world, so I'm not rooting for that. Slow growth is kind of what I'm looking for, and metals over time have done that. But there are ebbs and flows, there's peaks and valleys. Right now, as far as silver is concerned, and that's what I got in front of you here first, I think silver's kind of in a valley. I think it's a great opportunity. I've said this many times. I get people in the comments sometimes saying, oh yeah, a coin shop owner pumping up metal, surprise, surprise. Well, yeah, I am, but I'm not doing it to convince you to buy it. I'm excited about it personally. I've always told people I'm a stacker first, I'm a business person second. I believe in the products I sell, and I invest in them as well. But let's talk about silver first here. Silver has been very underwhelming in the last 30 days. Silver in the last 30 days reached a peak of $24.30 and a low of $22.08. That's a $2.22 swing, which is over 9% down. I can see why people across the country are frustrated. Like I said, those that bought in at a higher rate, thinking they're going to get rich quick, that is the absolute 100% wrong approach in investing in metals. Don't expect a quick flip at a high profit. Although it could happen, as I said before, there are instances where, you know, we could end up in a global World War III type scenario. A lot of investors at that point tend to move assets into metal because it's seen as more of a safe haven. And if that does happen, metals will respond and spot prices will go up. But like I said, nobody's rooting for that. So I get why customers are frustrated, disappointed. You know, my only advice is be patient. I mean, that's what I have to tell myself every day too. I'm sitting on metal that I bought at $45 an ounce back in 2011. Does it frustrate me? Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm just happy that I have the metal. I remember before I first started a business in 2014, I used to drive to the nearest town that had a reputable coin shop, which was a little over 100 miles away, with a couple $100s in my pocket. Go there, visit with the coin shop owner and his family, great people. I would go home with, 5 ounces of silver for my $200 and feel like a king. I would feel so rich and so excited and so pumped up. Well, now you can buy 8 ounces for the same price. Now this is 12 and a half, 13 years later, you can buy more metal for your cash. I think it's a great opportunity. That's how I look at it. So I don't get too frustrated with my average cost, and frankly, I don't know what my personal average cost is, but there's always opportunity. And I think right now, we have a low spot price with silver, and we also have a very low premium market. Other YouTubers, including Silver Seeker, just put out a video, and I'll link his video in this description, where he called around to coin shops across the country to get their buyback prices for like 1 ounce silver rounds and American silver eagles, just to kind of get a pulse on how the market is and what shops are willing to pay. Most shops were offering under spot or back of spot to purchase your silver. That doesn't really show strength for the market. It's not like it was a year ago when, silver rounds like this were selling for $5 or $6 over spot. You can buy rounds now anywhere from, well, I had them on sale a couple of weeks ago for $1.25 over spot. Those are like 10-year ago prices and premiums. So premiums have come down substantially. Now in my part of the world, I'm paying spot for most things. I have had to reassess what I'm willing to pay for certain products because wholesale buyback prices on what a wholesaler will pay me have really went down. Most everything they're paying, I'm talking privately minted stuff, most everything they're paying back of spot. So I got to be, gold especially. So I have to be real careful what I'm willing to pay for things as they come across the counter in the shop. So in terms of silver though, do I still think it's a good value? Absolutely. I'm still stacking silver in my personal life because I'm a big believer in it. I believe it has a lot of upside and a long way to go. There's always a silver lining, so don't get too frustrated with the dip in price. If you have the means and can afford to, it's just a good opportunity to stack more right now at a lesser rate. That's how I look at it. So that's silver. Let's talk about gold. I'm going to put some gold out on the tray here. I was going to set up a second tray and just swap it in, but I got to open my doors in a couple of minutes here, and I wanted to get information and a video out to you all today. So anyway, gold. Ooh, this one's kind of bent. Anyway, gold market has seen similar fate in the last 30 days. It saw a high of 2,079 and a low of 2009. That's a $70 swing, or a 3.4% drop from high price to low price. As I film this today, I should mention both gold and silver prices. Gold is about $2,025 an ounce, and silver is about $22.80 per ounce. So they're both higher than the 30-day low. In my wholesale dealer group, there's often opportunities for me to purchase gold around spot price. And I'm talking sovereign gold. It might be Krugerrands, it might be bars, but it's not going to be American gold eagles or American gold buffaloes, because those always have higher premiums. But there are dealers out there that are stuck with inventory they can't move, so they're liquidating it at rock bottom prices, hoping to get some of their money back out of it. Times are a little tough in coin shops. I'll give you a quick example. In Minot, North Dakota, we still have a fair amount of people buying, and I'm blessed with that. We do a fair amount of walk-in traffic in the shop, and flash sales that I've done on YouTube have definitely helped with sales as well. Yesterday, this was Wednesday, the 24th of January, I bought over 1,000 ounces of silver across the counter from customers that brought them in needing to sell. None of it was prearranged or pre-planned. I was shocked. I mean, I wasn't expecting to buy 1,000 ounces over the counter, but I did. I understand and realize there's people out there that are hurting. There's people that need cash for bills and things like that. So that's really what softened up the market too. And depending on where you are geographically, I'll bring up another point. Silver Seeker did an interview with Brian Vermillion in Florida. He has a coin shop, Vermillion Enterprises, has a YouTube channel. I've never met him personally, but he seems like a nice guy. Anyway, he said his business is down 60 to 70% versus last year. Now that's in Florida. In Minot, North Dakota, I'm up probably 50% versus last year. So geographics do definitely make a difference. Having said that, I can understand because I do see more and more sellers than I'm used to seeing. A lot of people are having to liquidate their metals back into cash in order to pay their fiat bills. So a lot of people are regrettably and frustratingly having to do that. They don't want to get rid of their metal, but what other choice do they have at that point? Gold, where do I see gold going? Well, like I told you in the beginning, gold is going to go up. Gold is also going to go down. Both are true. So, you know, timing peaks and valleys, you know, if you think gold is near a low point, pick some up. If you think gold is near a high point and you can take a profit, maybe liquidate some. It's really up to the individual. You know, you can study charts all you want and listen to all the talking heads and opinions, but nobody really knows for sure. But what we do know for sure is there is opportunity to buy metal at a cheaper rate and sell it at a higher rate, and you can profit. So one last thing I want to touch on, which has gotten a lot of talk in my shop lately, and I know not everybody thinks the gold to silver ratio matters. Arguably, maybe it doesn't, but I think it does. The gold to silver ratio in the last 30 days had a low of 84.8 and a high of 91.55. What does that mean? That's the number of ounces of silver at spot price it takes to purchase an ounce of gold. So at one point it just took 84.8 ounces of these to buy an ounce of gold. At another point it took 91.5. And I have had 4 customers in the last 30 days come into the shop, trade in gold for silver because the ratios are high. I think the numbers were anywhere from 88 to 91 when I did those trades with people. It was a good opportunity for them to flip their gold into silver because they could add ounces to their stack that way without having to incur additional cost. I've done videos on it before. It's probably nothing new to most of you who are watching, but I do think that is an important thing to pay attention to. So if you're asking me for predictions on where I see metals in the next 30 days or even the next 30 minutes, I'm never going to give you a definitive answer. I do believe long-term outlook is good. I'm a personal believer in it, in metal, both gold and silver, and we'll see where it takes us. And then lastly, we'll talk about pressures on the metals market, the downward pressures that's forcing price down. Why is that happening? Demand has slowed in a lot of parts of the country. Wholesalers are getting overburdened with inventory. When that happens, the business starts to get cash poor and inventory heavy. Thus, premiums tend to come down. So that's why buyback prices are much lower now that I mentioned earlier in the Silver Seeker video. That's why more people are selling in the shop. But to summarize, I get it. I know customer sentiment is down. People are frustrated, as I mentioned in the last 30 days. Between high and low silver price, it was a 9% drop. Between high and low gold price, it was a 3.4% drop. It's frustrating. But I would just tell you to remain patient. There's a lot going on in the world right now. I think outlook for metals is still positive. I'm a big believer in it. And I appreciate you all sticking with me and watching. Just listening to me ramble today. I didn't have a script or anything, but I wanted to get some information out to you because I know people are concerned about metals and somewhat frustrated. So my advice is hang in there, you know, lean on each other for support. I still think based on where things are at today, it's a good opportunity to buy, especially in the silver. So having said that, thank you all so much. Appreciate you. Have a good day.